and I know I shouldn't say it, but my heart don't understand.
Good evening, everyone. If you're ready, we'll start the press conference after the match. President Chesva, coach.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone.
Buenas tardes a todos.
First of all,
Primero,
it's my pleasure to be here in
es un placer
Madrid.
estar aquí en Madrid.
It's a great win for us because we
Es
play
estupendo para
against a
nosotros.
great
Hemos
team,
jugado
with a
contra un
big
gran
team,
equipo, un
with a
equipo
great
muy
coach,
grande,
great players.
con grandes jugadores, con un gran entrenador.
And for that, it's I must be very happy because of
Y
that,
por eso tengo que
because
estar muy
we
contento.
have one bad period after
hemos tenido
fourth
un
round.
periodo malo después
It's a similar
de
situation
4
like
veces
Rueda,
y
with
es una
some
situación
injuries
increíble. Hemos
and
tenido además varios lesionados.
and of course, yes, it's for us. It's most important to
Para
practice,
nosotros lo más
to have
importante
practice.
es seguir
In
practicando.
this pose, we have 7 days to practice
Aquí hemos
because we
tenido
are very
7
young
días
team,
para entrenar,
and we must continue to grow up.
porque somos un equipo muy
And
joven y tenemos que seguir creciendo.
immediately after 7 days, we
después
see
de 7
some
días
things.
hemos visto
For
algunas
example,
cosas.
it's a more aggressive on
Por
period
ejemplo,
before.
es más, un periodo
It's much
más
better in
agresivo,
offense.
es mucho mejor
It's
en
much
el
smarter in
ataque,
offense.
mucho más inteligente
So
en el
I'm
ataque,
happy because of that.
y eso me hace estar muy contento.
Okay, thanks. Comenzamos con las preguntas, por favor.
So we'll start with the questions. Please ask for the microphone and state your name and the company that you represent. Good evening. For Planet ACB, I would like to know what you told to your players after the timeout, after 45 seconds of the last quarter, and you saw that Madrid was just 1 point behind. Because I saw your players were quite mature. So what did you tell them?
One big change, Real Madrid make one big change. They play with 4 small players, with Luka on 4, and it was problem for us on the start of quarter, and we have luck to have a confidence in our shots, and we continue to play good defense as much as we can.
Thank you. Any other questions for the coach? Okay, thank you, coach.
Shouldn't talk about it. For me, the sun is shining anymore. The only thing I feel is bad, 'cause my absence of you, suspense controlling my mind. I can't find a way out of here. I want you by my side, so that I'll never feel alone again. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on. Do the boogie all night long. Stoned in paradise. Shouldn't talk about it. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on. Do the boogie all night long. Stoned in paradise. Shouldn't talk about it. Shouldn't talk about it. about it. I won't show. We can bring it on the floor. If never danced like this before. We don't talk about it. Dancing on. We do the boogie all night long. Stoned in paradise. Shouldn't talk about it.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, bass. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I ain't no size 2, but I can shake it like I'm supposed to.
Buenas noches de nuevo.
Good evening again. We start with a press conference for Real Madrid match, as usual, with Pablo Lasso's assessment. Good evening. First, I would like to congratulate Krasnodar for the win. I think there were two statistical aspects that actually set the difference in the match. The fact that they score 17 three-pointers and they have as an average 7.5, and this time it was 17, so a very good percentage. They moved the ball and quite well, and there our amount of losses, which is also quite high, is 14. We did 5 in the first 4 minutes. So statistically, these are two things that were quite difficult to overcome. And then the feeling that our first quarter was quite bad. Lack of rhythm, playing quite poorly, no aggressivity from the defensive or offensive point of view, and that actually set the match, because I think in the second quarter we were better, but they already had trust on the match, and in spite of being close to win it in the last ball possessions, we couldn't. We know that's the Euroleague, that's how complex it is and how difficult it is. All teams have the quality, and Krasnodar proved that, because they had lost for a number of matches and they won today. So thinking positively after what we can do after a loss, and being knowing that there's a lot of EuroLeague ahead of us and we have to go match by match. We know that we have a lot of leeway, although losing at home is always bad. Questions for the coach? Good evening, Pablo from El País. Beyond the number of defeats, I would like to ask you about the feelings, because you have enough alibis with the problems you had at the beginning of the season. So I would like to ask about the feeling you have. As I was saying, the feeling is that the first quarter was quite poor for us. We have a game identity we cannot lose, and during the first quarter it seems that it was not us. We were behind them all the time. From the defensive and offensive point of view, lots of times we talk about our attack or defense, and in the first quarter today we kind of gave it away. It didn't matter the score. We were winning in a given moment, 6 or 7 points, but I did not have the feeling we were playing right. They got into the game little by little, and then it was really difficult in the second quarter to go back to the match. So I would have liked to turn it around to see if we played on the first quarter like the second one, and that's not the way it is. This is basketball, and we have to roll in a game that was set by the first quarter. Okay, I have the feeling that it was a difficult moment for us, obviously, But I'm not prone to have excuses just for the sake of it. We knew it was going to be difficult because of the different players going in and out. That kind of messes the job up. But that's what we can do. We have the players we have, and the ones that are not here, not here. So we have to rebuild ourselves, and we have to value what we're doing right and keep on doing them right and try to improve them. And of course, correct the ones that we are not doing so well, which are some that are kind of more difficult for us. Any further questions? Okay. Javier Rodriguez, Planet ICB. I know that you're not prone to excuses, but today you had to a lot of things to do to cover 5 positions. You have 4 from the outside, 1 inside. So does that affect the team from the attitude point of view to be in such a complex situation? Well, I think the big ones in basketball are quite important because they provide a solid game, and that doesn't mean that the big one has to go behind the basket and score 50 points. But there are many things as defense, rebounds, presence that actually allow us to have the general pace in the match. And I talk about a team. It's true that we are inside, we're a bit more tied up, but the players we have are doing everything possible to get the job done. Machuli lives with 0 points, but he did quite a good job today. It was not an easy match for him in that position, but he did quite well, and I have the feeling that we have to adapt ourselves. If you take a look at the match as a whole, the 3 falls from Felipe at the first quarter were damaging, and these are situations that we know we can suffer in that moment, but somehow with everyone else's work we have to alleviate that. Unfortunately, it's something we accept, and it's compulsory for us to take a step forward in all aspects. The problem is, of course, that is where the opponent is going to attack most. Well, that's kind of normal. It's normal that the teams now, when they play against you, they see where your weaknesses are. And we do the same for them. So that's normal. There are situations we try and cover that are more difficult, and maybe in a different situation we would have not do it like that, but that's the way to adapt, and that's kind of the beautiful part about basketball, that you have to go and find the solutions that sometimes work well and other times not so much, but it's part of our job. And in that sense, I don't have the feeling that the team, and they proved it on the second quarter, that they did not surrender or stop fighting. So I'm proud of them in that sense, because they work on a match that was quite against that on many things. Jorge Martinez at Bernabeu.com. Pablo, I would like to ask if I have a number of defeats already. The team is noticing some pressure when they play, if they have like a mindset pressure, and especially regarding the match on Sunday. Thank you. No, don't have that feeling. There could be pressure if you cannot. In moments where we're playing okay, and they had 2 3-pointers, and they got the advantage if we drop. But I didn't have the feeling. I had the feeling that we didn't have a first quarter. We didn't, and I include myself. We were not right on the first quarter. The second quarter was good, but it was not enough to win. The last situations, pressure, I don't think so. For matches that are head by head, sometimes you get head, sometimes you get tails, and you cannot focus on the 3-pointer that wins. If he had missed, then I would have no. I have the feeling for the general match, although it's true that sometimes we like to break the matches, not have to go to that end, and I said that before. But if we have the matches like that, we have to understand that, and we have to be ready to play the finals much as we can. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Scar tissue that